Mario Kart World came out a few months ago, and I'm honestly addicted to it. Despite its problems with the intermission tracks and others, I really enjoy playing it. Although Wii is my personal favorite of the franchise, this definitely takes second place. After playing a lot of it, I decided to rank each track based on how much I like them. I'll take into account the layout, the shortcuts, the technical elements, the atmosphere, and other noteworthy elements, and intermission tracks will not be counted. So let's start ranking. Number 30, Koopa Troopa Beach. Literally give me any reason why this course should not be in the bottom spot by a huge margin. It does not even have to be a good reason, I just need any reason. This is one of the, if not the most boring modern Mario Kart course I've ever seen. It is literally just a big circle with some water with a very seldom jump. It barely utilizes World's new features. There's little walls to ride and zero rails. There's nothing to this course, so there's no reason to keep talking about it. Next course. Number 29, Desert Hills. So now we go from awful to just very mediocre. This course does have a few mildly interesting parts, like the many hills to trick off of, the shortcuts, and the Mario Land guys, but still not really anything special. Like the last one, it does not utilize any of World's new mechanics in any memorable way. It just feels like long paths. Not horrible, but not good at all. Number 28, Moo Moo Meadows. As someone who grew up with Mario Kart Wii, it kinda hurts me to put this track this low. I don't really know what it is about it, but it just kinda feels lacking in charm. I do not feel the atmosphere of the Wii original, and it definitely does not improve the gameplay. The end with the patches of grass near the end feels awkward without the ramp, and it just does not feel right. I would prefer if they reimagined it and added something new here, but they didn't. It just feels like they played it safe and called it a day. Number 27, Mario Circuit. This may actually be my favorite SNES/GBA retro track so far. Well, given that most of them are pretty generic and a lot of them feel like mazes of blocks, it doesn't really say a lot. I think this is my favorite because it actually does something unique by making each lap different. However, most of the course is extremely forgettable, especially the layout. The scenery is incredibly uninteresting and the block walls feel so bland. Still makes it better than the other 2D courses for doing something slightly more than the bare minimum. Number 26, Mario Bros. Circuit. Not to be confused with the SNES Mario Circuit, this is the first track in the game, and I would say that does a good job with that, with several rails, although it is kind of lacking in rideable walls. It gets you used to the game, that's pretty much it, but it does not really have a lot of replay potential due to the less complexity, but it's fine enough. Number 25, Starview Peak. This course has a lot of potential as a Mario Galaxy themed course, but barely did anything like it. It was really just that one ice themed course from 8 that I forgot the name of with the two lanes that go up and down one another. Like at that point, just make that a retro track. There aren't any tracks that originated from 8, so it would make sense that it would just make a very similar track. The layout is still fine, especially with the part with the water and the boosts that look like stars. Still, it doesn't really save it from how disappointing it is. Number 24, DK Pass. This is just DK Summit or Mount Wario at home. There really is not that much that makes it stand out among the other tracks here. It starts out on road, which we really don't need more of in Mario Kart World. It's just kind of forgettable with just some sharp curves and the occasional rideable wall. There's a mildly cool jump at the end, but it's just kind of too late for me to really care. It doesn't hold a candle to the other mountain courses and it's just overall mid. Number 23, Faraway Oasis. This course has a very good layout with the ramps and rails, and the different ways you can take them. The water on the ground at the end isn't too hard, but it is kind of too easy as well. It can be very fun, but there's a big problem with it. I do like the aesthetic of the place, but why aren't there any animals on the track? It could have made for good obstacles and could improve the already good layout, but they just feel weirdly missing. Despite the track's good parts, this big issue kind of drags it down. Number 22, Boo Cinema. This one kind of disappoints me. There's a really good concept here with a haunted theater and being able to go inside the screen and ride on film, but I just don't think that the course really does anything with it. There aren't any obstacles, and besides the underwhelming wall and rails, and the jump scare which actually shocked me the first time I played it, I just felt that was it by the time I left, and the rest of the theater really does not have much going on either. Overall, it's just okay. Number 21, Wario Shipyard. This course does have some cool sections like the rideable walls and the alternate paths, as well as the many jumps you can take on the water. However, I do feel it is held back by a few things. Firstly, why is it called Wario Shipyard when it has little to do with Wario? I feel like adding booze would fit the tone more considering how dark it feels. Also, the water driving makes the course drive a lot worse than it should, but it does have some cool gameplay decisions which I do feel puts it higher than I would normally put it at. Number 20. Crown City. You can pretty easily tell this course is made for free roam first and racing second. Yes, I do like free roam on it, but the race itself is a mixed bag. First lap does have some hard turns, and the half pipe is nice, but not much special. The second lap, on the other hand, kinda cooks with driving and jumping over the roofs, but the third lap is extremely underwhelming, as it's just some tight turns and it's over. Both the highs and lows in the game are in this course, and just averages to where it is now. Number 19. Dandelion Depths. This track has quite a few good parts. I love how it utilizes wall riding and really shows how good it is, especially with the shortcut. The water section was also really fun as well, and doing several jumps and water jumps in succession was very satisfying. I also really like the Steam Gardens vibe from Odyssey. That was a nice touch. But unfortunately, I don't think there's a lot that stands out about this course. There are very little obstacles, most of the layout is nothing special, it just feels very forgettable overall. It just feels like less than the sum of its parts. Number 18. Salty Speedway. This is a really good course on paper. The rideable walls give tons of room for tech and can be really fun. The atmosphere of the seaside town was very comforting. The options for both driving on water and land was a good idea. Then why isn't this higher? That's because of the water itself. Driving on it in this game is very hard to control, especially on the baby blooper. This course really shows its flaws. The tight turns on the water are very difficult and feels like driving a truck on it. Yes, you can drive in the streets next to it, but it's very easy to get knocked or fall into the water. The course had lots of potential, but the water drags it down a lot. Number 17. Peach Stadium. This course gives me lots of Mario Kart 8 vibes with the anti-gravity feeling and really the visuals. There are some cool shortcuts that you can take with if you have mushrooms and the ultimate pass with the jumps that let you land on the rails. But I just wish so much the track did not rely on you taking one shortcut early on. It just makes it harder for everyone else. Not bad, but not spectacular either. Number 16. Toad's Factory. Toad's Factory was one of my favorite tracks on Wii, and I was excited to hear that I was making a return to World. What I got was a Toad's Factory, and that was exactly what I got. However, I do feel that the track is almost too faithful to the original. Sure, they add new rails, rideable walls to alternate paths, and the rails at the big jump, but I just don't think that was enough. It just feels like Toad's Factory on Switch, not a new take on it like it hoped. It just felt very safe. Despite that, I still love some more Toad's Factory. Number 15. Peach Beach. It is unpopular to say that I kinda prefer this to the track on the Wii. The Wii version was okay with the cataquacks and the atmosphere, but there's not much going on besides that. The World version, however, is almost the opposite situation with Toad's Factory. It feels totally different with the different sections with each lap, with the new parts that feel designed for World and its new mechanics. Although not very faithful, it does not have the atmosphere of the version I am used to. The last lap with the water is pretty lame. I still love the creative liberties that brought to the table. Number 14. Acorn Heights. This course can be pretty fun. I like the part with all the leaves and the mushrooms. I really like how it gives you a lot of freedom with your own path, and shortcuts you can do can be really fun. However, the course doesn't do a lot that the others don't, and some of the rails can be hard to ride on. However, it still has parts I like that make it work. Number 13. Cheep Falls. Easily the best water course in the game. Despite the difficult controls, driving on water here is actually very fun. The rapids made it a lot more interesting. You have lots of different ways to go down it. Like the streams make you go faster, the several jumps on the rocks, jumping in the water itself, or riding the walls. The first half of the course, despite not being as interesting as the water segment, was still fine, and the atmosphere is very nice too. Very good course. Number 12. Choco Mountain. The course that is themed around a mountain excavation somehow feels more like a stadium than both the other courses that have stadium names. I love how hyped this course can feel with all the ramps and jumps, especially the big jump where you need to bounce off of the mud to land back on solid land. The obstacles are a little too abundant. The course can feel punishing, but doesn't stop how cool the course can be. Number 11. Shy Guy Bazaar. At first I wasn't a big fan of the course. It felt really crampy and had too many obstacles in the way of it. While some of that still applies, I do like it a lot better now. It took me a while to see how many different paths there are in this course and how to utilize the game's mechanics very well, from wall riding to climbing the wall itself from the rope. It can be difficult sometimes. I do like how it always makes you think ahead for which path you're going to go next. Great course. Number 10. Rainbow Road. Okay, so this may be a bit of a hot take, so I'll explain. Yes, the course does have a very grand theme and has incredible presentation. Going through the space station was hype, and seeing the train with the familiar faces on it was a great touch. The water section was surprisingly nice and the music is epic. However, from a gameplay perspective, it does not really reach how the course is built up. The course feels very easy and is not very easy to fall off, which is really against what Rainbow Road was known for. It rarely builds off of World's new mechanics, and the track itself feels very long and slow, especially with the gliding segments. So while I do see why many would love this track, it's not one of my favorites, despite the presentation. Number 9. Wario Stadium. This track has a lot of fun stuff. I really like the rails and how you can jump from them to the walls, and how there are so many ways to go about the course. Like, should you ride the walls? Which wall should you ride? How will you get off the rails? There's just tons of stuff to play around on. However, the course does not really feel like a stadium. It kind of looks like a junkyard and kind of makes it less hype. It doesn't have a lot of obstacles or risky situations to really make it play like one. Also, the skill ceiling for this track is very high due to the amount of tech. So good luck playing the stage if you're a beginner. So while it does have some high highs, it also has low lows. I do kind of prefer Waluigi Stadium on the Wii in my opinion. Number 8. Whistletop Summit. This course uses rails in a very fun way. The alternate rails and the choice to go on faster, but indirect rails, or go on normal, but more direct ground, makes lots of different strategies when going about it. Yes, the course does kind of overuse rails a bit, and if you want, you can stay on the rails for pretty much the whole race. But dang, if this isn't fun, then I don't know what is. Number 7. Airship Fortress. Now this stage is really fun. I love how the rails are implemented during the beginning and how you need to strategize with them so you don't miss or hit the wall. I also like the part in the tower where you drift in circles down it, and the course also has some of the best intermission tracks surrounding it. The war vibe really contributes to the franticness that the course can have. Despite not having a lot of obstacles, it certainly has a lot to make up for it. Number 6. Dino Jungle. This track does not have the most intricate gameplays as the rest of the track this high up the list, but man, it sure does make up for it with everything else. The atmosphere on the track feels so good with the dinosaurs and its prehistoric vibe. Use of the dinosaurs was also very well done, and I love how they all do different things and they change their position after every lap. I love how the water spouts could completely slow you down or let you reach higher areas. The shortcuts in general are very well done. It also helps that the remix in this track is my favorite remix and song in general in the game. Awesome track. Number 5. Dry Bones Burnout. This course probably has some of the best uses of alternate paths in the game. I love how some paths like the ones up top feel harder than the ones on the bottom, despite having more rails and walls to go faster on. The course feels very intricate despite its high difficulty. I also like the shortcut opportunities on the bottom, so that it makes the players on the bottom still have a chance to catch up. All around a great course, and an even better demonstration of Mario Kart World's mechanics. Number 4. Bowser's Castle. This is probably my favorite of the 3 fiery-based courses. It was very close, but this one made it on top. I love how fast-paced this track is from the beginning to end. The railings on the 2 paths by the start, with many shortcuts, and the extremely fast speed, which can both benefit you and throw you way off, were all great decisions. It really feels thrilling, which is perfect for a course themed around Bowser. Definitely one of the best. Number 3. Sky High Sundae. So this course may not have the most interesting layout, it's literally a big oval. It may not have the most epic theme ever, but man, it is so fun. There's so many options you can do on each section that keeps you on your toes. Many rival walls and rails make for so many strategies for going faster and really increase the depth of the course. Riding on the course feels so fast-paced and genuinely thrilling, especially considering how risky some of them are, like riding on the edge of the turn near the end. While it may not be objectively one of the best courses in the game, it certainly is one of my favorites and probably the most fun. Number 2. Great Question Mark Block Ruins. Now this course, on the other hand, does have an epic theme. I love how many walls and alternate paths there are on this course and how many different ways there are to go about a single lap. It makes me wonder what paths are worth the risk. Making the big jumps give a huge dopamine rush, and the scale of the course really makes it that much grander. Even if you miss a jump, there are still other paths to take to recover yourself, and can make jumps that can even make unintentional shortcuts. This is an amazing course, and I would say that is my favorite of the game, if not for one other course. Number 1. DK Spaceport. This course is absolute hype. The course feels like a boss fight against a robot Donkey Kong, which in concept alone is already peak. Frankly, this is everything a course should have in World. Incredible scale, dozens of rails and rideable walls that feel awesome to ride on, massive obstacles that you need to avoid, and an adequate amount of fan service for the OG Donkey Kong game. It's also a very good pick for a Mushroom Cup course because it helps you get used to all the new mechanics that are introduced in the game in a very fun way. All of it comes together to create an incredible course and my personal favorite track in Mario Kart World. So that was my list. Despite the problems with some of them, this is a really good lineup. Despite its quantity, I do prefer World's tracks over 8, although I still prefer Wii selection. What are your thoughts on the ranking? What do you agree and disagree with? Feel free to comment and see you next time.